Chapter 27. If you had to put a theme on this chapter, it would probably be friendship or just interaction with others from a community standpoint. So we begin in verse 1 and 2. It says, "Do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring." That may be a familiar proverb to you because it's also in James chapter 4. And he adds to that proverb, if you say anything about I'm going to do this or go here or go there, it's if the Lord wills. This is what I'm planning to do, which there's nothing wrong with planning, but it's if the Lord wills. And in my study today, I found this cool little Latin phrase called Deo volente. Deo volente sounds like it could be a cool little email signature. It means God willing. God willing. Verse 2, let another praise you and not your own mouth, a stranger, not your own lips. And verse 2 is one of the bookends of this section. If you look at verse 21, it also says that a man is tested by his praise. And so while verse 1 refers to really trusting in yourself, obviously we can say, hey, tomorrow I'm going to go here. But don't boast in yourself that you're the one that is making those things happen. You don't have to be religious or you don't have to literally say, if the Lord wills. That's your heart posture. You know that everything good and everything comes from the Lord's hand. The man plans his steps, plans his ways, uh, makes decisions, but it's every step is from the Lord. That's God's sovereignty. Verse 2 talks about how we should think of praise. If verse 1 talks about how we should think of our plans, 2, how are you doing? Your praise. Let another praise you, not your own mouth. So don't assess yourself as much as allow others to assess you. The reason why it's good to hear feedback from strangers is because they have no ulterior motives. And so you're most likely getting a better idea of how you're doing from them. Now, this is not praise in order to um, feel better about yourself. The only reason you should be accepting praise from anyone is as a way of feedback. Like, okay, I'm doing a good job here. I'm helping people out. That's wonderful. The praise and adoration goes to the Lord. And so that's what verse 21 is going to fill in here. Because in one sense, don't praise yourself. If someone else praises you, you could listen to it and say, okay, I'm doing okay here. I'm not failing. That's good. But you're also being tested by this praise. And how you handle praise says a lot about you. Because praise ends on the Lord. And ultimately, you should direct all praise to the Lord. Man, you're so great because you're so whatever, fill in the blank. Hey, praise God, man. He made me this way. I don't know why he chose to make me this way, but he did. And I mean, I get no credit. It's all the credit. I don't want any glory. I don't want any actual praise, but I do appreciate that you see the Lord in me. Wow. Wonderful that I get to be that vessel. Verse 3 and 4 talk about how hard it is to deal with sinful people. It's like moving a stone or a sandbag. It's heavy, it's weighty, it's hard, but dealing with a fool is even harder. Uh, Dealing with wrathful and angry people can be overwhelming, but jealous people are the worst. Jealousy is worse than wrath or anger. Wrath and anger are obvious, they're right there in front of your face. Jealousy hides beneath the surface. And so if you detect jealousy in your heart, you need to get it out. You need to get it out because it is the worst thing to deal with. It burns and ultimately will change your behavior towards people, and it will affect you. And so you got to get it out of there. Verse 5 through 10 are some proverbs on friendship. Friends rebuke one another. To rebuke means to point out a wrong. And to rebuke someone is better than hiding your love. In other words, rebuking someone is a way to show your love. And it's better to show your love than hide your love. And faithful are the wounds of a friend, verse 6. They hurt, but they heal. But profuse are the kisses of an enemy, which to me just feels like flattery. An enemy will kiss you. It seems like it's nice, but really there's an ulterior motive, and that's the flattery. They're really just trying to get something out of it. But if someone wounds you with rebuke, well, you can actually trust it a lot more, because why would someone wound somebody? Unless they're just trying to be mean, of course. But this is a friend. He's trying to help you. And it may hurt for a minute, but once it heals, it's going to be better. Verse 7 and 8 go together. It's about what happens when you're deprived of good things or when you indulge in sinful things. When you're full, and what's implied here is full of sinful things that you've gone after, then you loathe honey. Honey is a good thing. Honey is a blessing. But you don't even want honey because you're so full of sin. But when you're hungry, when you are deprived of anything, then even bitter and sinful things taste sweet. And that's the idea there, is that you're being um, deprived of good things. Perhaps it's, you know, godly fellowship, and you're all alone. Well, then any sort of companionship will feel good. And so what do you need to do in wisdom? I need to be filled up with the body of Christ, with my Christian friends. I don't need to isolate. Um, if you get full on lustful thoughts and images, then the proper um, way to fill sexual desire will be ruined. Your marriage bed will be ruined because you filled up your mind and your heart with sinful desires. So all this speaks to the discipline that we must have in navigating these things. We need to learn how to be filled up with proper things and to not deprive ourselves of what's right. And really what that means is, if you think of the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew chapter 5, verse 6, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for what? Righteousness. So that's the desire. You say, how do I fill myself up in something if I can't have it right now? You need to fill yourself up with righteousness, because they will be satisfied. The person who fills up with sinful things is like a bird that strays from its nest. It's dangerous when you do that. And a man strays from his home. That's dangerous. Stray from your home. What are you running from? Something? Someone? What are you going to find out there? Well, we all know what you're going to find. You're looking for something. Why are you looking? Because you're not being satisfied with seeking and trying to be more holy like Christ. That's what you should be satisfied with. Verse 9 and 10 go together. Oil and perfume make the heart glad. It's the smell, the aroma make you happy. Well, in the same way, the sweetness of a friend comes from his earnest counsel. So You're tempted to get a friend that just tells you what you want to hear, that just makes you feel good all the time. But if you want joy from a friend, find a friend that's willing to counsel, to help you, and you be that friend for them. Um, Better is open rebuke. Faithful are the wounds of a friend. The counsel, the sweetness of a friend comes from his earnest counsel. He really wants the best for you. Verse 10, do not forsake your friend and your father's friend, and do not go to your brother's house in the day of your calamity. This is a 3-line proverb that's unique. And basically what it sums it up in the second line. Better is a neighbor who is near than a brother who is far away. So don't just go after family if family can't help you because they're so far away. Invest in these relationships that are nearby, your neighbor, your next door neighbor, etc., because they can help you when it's needed. Verse 11, be wise, my son. And this is the new section. So from 11 to 22 is the second section of chapter 27. And we're going to see some more about friendship, but also we're going to have some fools that we need to avoid. Verse 11, be wise, my son, and make my heart glad, that I may answer him who reproaches me. When your son or daughter are godly, it's a huge testament to the parent. The prudent sees danger and hides himself, but the simple go on and suffer for it. So he says, be wise, my son, make my heart glad. Here's a way that you can be wise, be prudent, be safe, be cautious, and hide yourself from danger. Don't go out there suffering from danger. That's going to look bad on the parent. Verse 13 is a fool to avoid, someone who takes a man's garment when he has put up security for a stranger, holds it in pledge when he puts up security for an adulteress. If someone puts up security for an adulteress, then if they're willing to, put someone up that committed an affair, why in the world would they think that this adulterous woman is going to pay back her debt? She can't be trusted with a husband. Why would she be trusted in business? So this would be a fool, someone who takes promises from sinful people. Avoid those people. Don't become those people. That's not a way to make your father happy, Father in heaven, etc. Verse 14, this is the flatterer, the suspicious flatterer. Whoever blesses his neighbor with a loud voice rising early in the morning will be counted as cursing. So it's good to bless your neighbor, but when you do it loudly, that's the wrong way. When you do it super early in the morning, that's the wrong time. Something's up there. What's he doing? Why is he doing it? Avoid this person. He's a hypocrite. He's a flatterer, and he's got ulterior motives. So we're going to distance ourselves from that person. And this has a lot of relevance. When I was growing up, people would call the house at like 7 a.m. And, that phone would ring and the whole house would wake up. And it's like, who is calling this early in the morning? This is probably someone you need to avoid. Verse 15, this is the nagging, unruly wife. Continual dripping on a rainy day and a quarrelsome wife are alike. The reason why the nagging wife or the quarrelsome wife, pretty much same thing, is unpleasant is because she can't be restrained. To restrain her is to restrain the wind or to grasp oil in your hand. And it's just, they're out of control. They don't submit. And that's what wives are called to do in Ephesians 5, to submit. This is probably similar to the wrathful man who will just destroy his house through his foolish wrath and anger. Well, so the wife will, because a man is called in Ephesians 5 to love, nourish, cherish, and sacrifice for the good of his wife, and obviously his children too. And so for him to be this self-promoting, glory-seeking, praise-hungry, wrathful man will destroy a home, just like the unsubmitting, unruly, unrestrainable, unhappy. That's where nagging comes from. They're unhappy with themselves and they take it out on everyone else. This will destroy a home as well. So avoid that woman. Don't marry her. If you see that tendency in her, don't marry her. If you're already married to her, we all can be sanctified. Just wash her with the water of the word. Sanctify her as Christ sanctifies his church, with prayer, with the word, and as an example. As husbands, we have to be the example. And we exemplify Christ by sacrificial love and by teaching the word, by nourish and cherishing. She's a delicate lily flower, and you have to care for her. You have to water her. You have to make sure nothing hurts her. And as that wife feels that security and protection from her husband, who has, although he's been given the role as head of the house, he seems to make her the center of it. That's right and proper. She is. And she is the centermost figure in his ministry. She is the most important thing to him, for him to showcase his loyalty to Christ by showing how he takes care of his bride. His bride is his number one priority to nourish and cherish with sacrificial love. And when she feels that, she will begin to stop nagging because she feels secure, she feels seen, she feels protected, she knows she has backup, and that nagging will go away. So, verse 17, iron sharpens iron, one man sharpens another. Probably the most famous Bible verse, definitely the most famous proverb in like the culture. But I wonder what people think when they hear this. Iron sharpens iron, one man sharpens another. I think they just think of friendship in general. But I wonder if what is also thought of is like when you sharpen a piece of iron, it's a painful process for the iron, if you could imagine. And it's the way that it's being sharpened is through correction. You're correcting the blade. And so is that what you think of when you think of this proverb? When you think of your little men's group that gets around and talks about, I don't know what. I mean, are you talking about how you need to live more for the glory of God? Are you confessing sin and holding each other accountable? And I think that's the most important part of a iron sharpening iron group, is that you're confessing sin to one another and you are holding one another accountable. And to the level that you all hold each other accountable is to the level you will find that you're becoming sharper. If you got a dull men's group, you need to add in painful accountability. Like seriously, painful accountability. And everyone needs to be on the same page. And that's where successful accountability groups come from. It's transparency. It's um, it's a high standard. You could be accountable to something that's not very important, but that's not going to be very helpful. So it needs to have a high standard, high stakes, and needs to hurt. Verse 18, when you tend a fig tree, you'll eat its fruit, and when you guard your master, you will be honored, or your superior. Showing honor to people that are above you, you're going to be rewarded. Verse 19, as in water, face reflects face. So a mirror reflects who you are on the outside. Well, the heart shows who you are on the inside. And in this context, your heart in dealing with other people, how you deal with people, how they view you, how they receive you, that reflects how you are. Um, and so you can't always trust in your own assessment of yourself. You need to look to how others treat you. That's probably how they view you, and it's a reflection of how you treat and view them. So if you want to change how people treat you, you begin with changing how you treat them. Verse 20, Sheol and Abaddon, that's death and Hades, are never satisfied. They're not going to get full. They always want more victims. And never satisfied are the eyes of man. This is man's sinful desires. Your sinful desires will never be satisfied. It's a great thing to remember. When you're being tempted towards sin, remember, if you go down this path, it's not going to feel better. It's not going to, eventually you're not going to be happy. It's only going to get worse, actually. We already talked about 21, but when you are praised, you are being tested. How do you handle it? Do you funnel that praise back to God as it belongs, or do you take it and live on it? Because you're never going to be satisfied with that praise because it doesn't belong to you. You are created to praise God and to honor and worship Him. And so any praise you get should be used to be given back to Him. Okay, the last section, 23 through 27, is an interesting little section. It's a poem and it all goes together. It's like prose. Um, and you could say this is about a business. This is about how you handle your work. And what he's talking about here is knowing well the condition of your flocks. Flocks literally represent having animals. And the reason why animals are good is because they're a renewable resource. They create more animals forever. Now, riches don't do that. Riches don't multiply. And a crown does not necessarily endure to all generations. And so renewable resources are better than riches or crowns. So pay careful attention to your renewable resources, to your animals. Now, we're not in a agrarian society anymore. And we don't typically shepherd animals. It's not how we get our clothing, which 26 and 27 show what the animals bring: clothing, food, land, and even provision for the girls. The servant girls is what that is. All of life's necessities. But this is about your business. Like, if you take care of your business is going to take care of you. If you manage it well, if you're diligent, then it's going to continue to provide for you. As pastors can look at this. We're called the under shepherds of Christ. We're here watching over a flock of sheep, of congregants, and we should know them well, and we should give attention to them, and we should not be obsessed only with academics, but with shepherding. Okay, so that was chapter 27. How can you become a better friend? Where do you need to um, give better counsel, be more willing to rebuke and to help through giving correction? Um, where do you need to provide better accountability, or maybe seek better accountability so that you can be the man or woman that sharpens another man or woman? God has given us every friend that we have in our life for a reason, by His providence. And so, are we managing those friendships well? Are we honoring the Lord with our friendships? Or are we being self-seeking? You were not created for yourself. You were created for God and for others. And so, um, be more faithful as you can, as He shows you, to those friendships for God's sake, for His honor, for His glory, for His kingdom, so that you can be of help to others as well.